now talking about the movie Porno, and guess which type of movie this isn't? That's right, it's not a porno. This one is directed by Keola Rakila, and I guess you can compare this one to Lamberto Bava's Demons, the 1985 movie, with a sprinkling of The Ring. So the story here is we have a group of 5 kind of young people set in the early 90s, and they're at a kind of Christian religious cinema that's playing a couple of films, and the manager basically gives them the kind of the keys to lock up and so they can watch a film once they kind of shut up. And they, through a happenstance, find this sort of mysterious blocked off room, which actually is another kind of auditorium, and they find this in a film can, this mysterious film, and they watch it, and it appears to be what they think at least is a porno, but when in actual fact what it is some type of demonic succubus summoning ritual. It's then actually has this succubus appear and is summoned and then tries to dispatch them in a variety of seductive ways, shall we say. So what will happen? You have to watch the movie to find out, so let's discuss. So this is a horror comedy, but it's not like a spoofy comedy, it's just kind of like a more or less a sort of a straight story with some comedic elements here. What works, first of all? Okay, so I kind of dug the early 90s setting here. They don't explicitly bash you over the head with it, but obviously if you can see what the movie's out on cinema, you can get what the time frame is here. So you get that obviously this is a place where there aren't mobile phones and things like this, and so, but it doesn't kind of like try to kind of ram you kind of retro too much down your throat, which I thought was pretty good. The cast here are all quite likeable characters, I've got to say. Them being all kind of quite religious actually gives it somewhat of a unique kind of feel for a kind of a cast of characters. I mean, some of them are have their kind of perversion, so we say, and this is what the demonic entity is going to try and exploit. But nonetheless, it's kind of interesting to have a group of, at least on the surface of it, a morally upstanding kind of protagonists, all 5 of them in actual fact, to varying degrees of at least. So that was quite fun. There are some particularly gruesome scenes in this. Now they are only kind of peppered throughout. This is not a gore fest in the sense that there's lots of gore throughout the movie, but there are a particularly gruesome one particular scene involving some testicles that really will make you wince if you are a guy. I absolutely promise you. But there are a couple of other ones as well. But that one particular scene is like, ooh, that, and it's not a shot that kind of they pull away from either. It's one they linger on for quite some time, and it's quite painful to sit there and watch as a guy. Obviously, it being called porno, there's going to be a certain sex connotations to it. There is a couple of nude scenes, to be honest, but it's not really the kind of the crux of the movie. It's it's the fact they think it's a porno that they're watching. One quite funny gag is because this lot are all kind of Christians and haven't been exposed to a lot of stuff, they just think this is what pornos are like, and it's all this kind of like demonic stuff kind of going on. I just thought it was quite a fun little gag there. My favourite character was the projectionist, who is this slightly older guy who's like this kind of heavy metal fan, and he's kind of quite over the top, to be fair, but he's kind of quite a fun character, and the demonic makeup looks pretty good. And it's quite interesting to have a movie, and I say, mentioned Demons, it's been set in a cinema. This one, it's also set in a kind of a cinema. It's just quite an awesome little self-contained story within this kind of like this building, and does make for some quite interesting set pieces. What doesn't work for me, the movie is weirdly slow in places. So the actual demonic attacks are few and far between. So once this thing is summoned, you were expecting, really, I think, to have more influence by this kind of demon, more encounters, but they're actually relatively sparse. I mean, when we do get them, like I said, there are some kind of fairly explicit scenes in regards to kind of gore and some mildly explicit sexual stuff, but they're actually relatively few and far between. Now, you could argue that it's kind of building characterization and stuff like that, but to be honest with you, we've had the kind of the first half of the movie at this point to do that, and I was a little bit surprised how little of the actual kind of demonic stuff there is actually in the remaining of the movie. I mean, it pops up here and there, but it's, I don't know, you were expecting a little bit more, and it becomes just a little bit weirdly paced at times. I think maybe the ending is a little bit of a mess as well, to be honest. I mean, some people might like it, but I don't think it's abundantly clear, you know, how things have kind of transpired and what's actually kind of gone on to a certain degree. The movie does try to have some moral lessons about forbidden fruit, shall we say, and should you kind of like succumb to their delights, so to speak, but it doesn't kind of beat you over the head with it, I would say. Overall, it's a fun movie. I don't think it's like a classic in any sense of the word, really. I don't think it's going to be one that's going to be like as fondly remembered and as a cult classic like the '85 movie Demons, which I think is obviously its nearest comparison here. But it's enjoyable, I think, for a watch. I kind of want to give it a 6.5, and I don't really give half marks, so I'll give it a 7, to be honest. But I think I feel I'm being slightly generous there. Yeah, it's a kind of a fun watch. I don't know if I'd watch it again, but I enjoyed it at least the first time. The characters are likeable. They're quite, you know, well portrayed here, especially the one guy said. And there are some fairly good makeup and gore effects. It's not quite as exciting as maybe you think it might be. And I think I really don't think the title's going to help this one, because it's just going to flag up on any social media and, you know, obviously to flag as actual porno. So I wouldn't really advise this title, to be quite honest with you, because when people talk about it, it's just going to get lumped in with actual porn. So 7 out of 10. Have you seen it? What did you think of it? Leave me a comment and I'll look forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now.